It's day 3 of the Portland Jigsaw Masters 2025. I'm Rob Shields, host of the podcast Peace Talks, bringing you the rest of the action on day 3, the final duos and individual finals. With me typically has been Carly Craig, but she's not able to join us today, so we have some big shoes to fill. Fortunately, we have somebody with metaphorically large feet joining me today for all of day 3. You'll know him as a virtuoso of jig sport announcing. You've heard him in U.S. Nationals. You've heard him in the Euro Jigsaw Jam. The OG puzzle nerd, Jim Eakins. Jim, thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me. And I just want to say real quick, you and Carly have done a fantastic job all weekend. So I'm just trying my best to fill your shoes.
You're going to do a great job. Yeah, Carly's been awesome. We're going to bring you a little bit of a different energy here today, a much nerdier kind of energy, a much more maybe intense, focused sort of energy. So I'm super excited to have you on board. I say it's one of the true gets of this particular live stream was your willingness to join us for this. So I appreciate that.
Hey, you keep hyping me up. I'm going to start believing it. But you know what's really exciting is how many great pairs we have coming up right now. It's going to be really, really wild to see how everybody does here, because we have some of the top teams from nationals, or some of the top individual players from nationals teaming up in different ways, and it's going to be really, really exciting.
Yeah, you were not kidding. Some of those preliminary rounds went so fast. And we have some fun combinations of folks who have not competed before. So we've got like Becca and Jessa, who are a new pair here, but formidable. But then you've got folks like both halves of the girls in Stemp just kicking butt the entire time.
Yeah, I half wondered if Hannah Doyle was going to try to go for the Katrina Coleman over in Australia, who just swept the individual team and pair. So I wonder if Hannah Doyle is going to be going for a similar thing here. But you're absolutely right. You can't count out Becca at all, and Irina and Diana are a very powerful pair. Just across the board, like Irina's hand speed is bananas whenever she's in the groove, and Diana does such a good job of setting her up, and they just meld really well together. So a lot of this is going to come down to what does the puzzle look like and what pairs gel the most with that image, rather than just who is the strongest puzzler of the day. There's so many factors that come involved in this at any point.
Yeah, you were not kidding. When it comes to winning the trifecta, I think of that as a Kelly Walter. That's the, coming in on nationals and winning all 3 events. So I did a quick look at the first 2 heats. The first heat finished, looks like in about 54 minutes. Is that true? The duos? I think, no, sorry. Still getting the excitement worked through here. I got to hit the flow, but about 27-24 was what the Dolores Park Puzzlers finished the first heat in. That was Chloe and Sky, and then in heat 2 finished in 22:03 with the Dolores Park Benchwarmers. Again, both halves of the girls in Stemp. What I was referring to here.
Okay, 5 minutes.
What I was referring to here a minute ago was that was the median time to complete for both of those was 54 minutes. That was the middleist team finished that puzzle in heat 1 in 54 minutes, and the heat 2 they finished it in 49 minutes. And I just went to look to see how fast the fastest people compared to those middleist people, and the Dolores Park Puzzlers, Chloe and Sky, finished just about exactly 2 times faster than the middleist person, with Caitlin and Hannah on the Dolores Park Benchwarmers in Heat 2 finishing 2.2 times faster than the middleist person. So we've got a very speedy bunch, and one of the things that's nice about that is that looking at a particular puzzle, you can see that we finished the Heat 2 in 49 minutes. It was a fast heat, but relative to a fast heat, they were even faster.
Yeah, it's, standard deviations are wild whenever you start getting into the stats on that level and digging out the comparison from the middle number or from the average, and then playing with that. And the people that are at the top are really, really excellent, but I don't want to discount anybody that made it into the final altogether, because it is a rough field. So just getting into the final at the Portland Jigsaw Masters is a huge accomplishment, and a lot of people came up to do that. So super kudos to everybody in the final, and I'm hoping that we get a big room clear of everybody finishing.
I feel like that is entirely likely. We have 2 hours for this competition, and I'll be surprised if we go much farther than an hour for everybody in this, depending on how complex the puzzle is, obviously. But I think that's eminently feasible. Pretty much everybody, I believe every pair here finished the heats in under an hour. So I think that we'll see a really fast heat here.
Yeah. Well, and it's also a 550-piece puzzle. Is that right, Rob?
You know, it was originally meant to be a 550-piece puzzle, but rumor has it that it is a 500-piece puzzle, and I'm not entirely sure what the logistical reason for that is. So a little bit of a change up there.
That's exciting. I mean, either way, as you get more pieces on the table, you start getting an exponential increase in the complexity of how difficult it is to solve. So if it's a 550, we might see a little bit of a shift in the window for the top finishers, but they're still going to be clustered together and really, really fast.
Yeah, no, you're right. Everybody just moves along. It's not like they particularly spread out a ton, especially when you're looking at just a 10% increase. One of the teams that pairs that I want to mention here is that is a local team, Organized Chaos, with Beatrice Endler and Xin Pua. I mentioned them because according to that sort of calculation I did, they ended up number 2. So they did really strongly in their heat. They're local, so obviously I'm rooting heavily for them. They split the Dolores Park Puzzlers and the Dolores Park Benchwarmers in the rankings. So I think that, as you said, there's a lot of strong competitors here. It goes down like quite a ways. You can look quite down the list and say, yeah, that with the right puzzle, that is a team that could take it.
Oh, absolutely. Beatrice is that they are so slick at being able to catch tiny details on pieces and then lock them in. I believe they do a decent amount of DRing whenever they have to, which is great. But I also want to talk about the
I like that you're using the specific language. Tell people what DRing is.
Oh yeah, DRing, also called dead reckoning, is the Andrea Pang term. Some people also call it pick and place, but it's where you grab a piece and you look at it for a second, and then you look at the image, and you know exactly where it goes, and you place it, bam, like a gunslinger, exactly where it's supposed to end up, without any deviation whatsoever. So it's a dead reckoned shot right there, and that makes it a really strong anchor point. And if you do a whole bunch of those, you can build in very, very rapidly. And it's a skill that takes a lot of time to develop. Especially to be accurate within a certain zone, because if you're off by a few inches, then everything you build is going to be off, or your reference points are going to be all over the place. So it's very much a boom or bust tactic, but it works really well for the people that are strong on it.
Yeah, I know that Beatrice in her individuals was trying what I'm calling the Davy Black
everybody.
maneuver, Organized Chaos.
All
right, we'll switch to the room announcements.
Welcome to day 3 of the Portland Jigsaw Masters, the final day. Got the 2 finals today, duos and the championship individual final this afternoon. Great. We're excited to have everybody here. Thank you for coming. A couple of things. This next puzzle is from a new company called Good World Puzzles. They're manufactured by Portland Puzzle Company. And we're excited to have them join us. We want to make sure, since it looks like everybody has made it through the finals, the rules are exactly the same. I don't need to go through that again. But I do want to ask, does anybody have any questions? Okay. Real briefly, we're going to go through and go through the team names. Carly's not here today, so I'm going to go quickly if I can. And sorry if I butcher your team name, but let's see who's here and let's hear from you. The Dolores Park Benchwarmers. Organized Chaos is here. Dolores Park Puzzlers. The Rainbow Cats. Twinsanity. AJ Fitz, Jessa and Becca, Damn It Fit, Get It Together, Fusion Puzzlers, M&M, Getting Jiggy With It, Coastbusters, 40% Brain, 60% Worm, Life in Pieces, M&E, Awkward Puzzlers, Disturbing the Peace, Bonsai. The OG Queens. Pink Puzzle Club. One Piece. Partners in Puzzling. Dissectology Duo. AAOK. Better at escape rooms. Tickles. One piece at a time. Team Slay. Squirrely Puzzling. The Puzzle Goats. Puzzlin' Goats. Peace Whisperers. Jigsaw Junkies. Pair Force One. West Lindsay Trading Company. LSA. Keep Portland Puzzling. The Puzzled Sisters. If it fits, it sits. The Edgelords. Pickled Eggheads. Team Naha. Bring you two pieces. Mr. Poole can be so annoying. It takes two. Puzzle Pounders. Puzzling Cousins. Hamajang. Sloth Filters. Fitters. Sloth Fitters. And finally, awesomeness. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Are y'all ready? Finals for the duos. Portland Jigsaw Masters. Here we go. Let's get the time. Stand by. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
And we're off and puzzling at the Portland Jigsaw Masters 2025 Duos Finals. I love that the moment he said, "Are you ready?" the entire room stood up and assumed the playing position. It was amazing. So Jim, I don't know if you have the puzzle in front of you, but it is a very kind of busy-ish sort of puzzle, very cartoon sort of like. I don't know if we can get a shot of that up here or overlay a shot of the puzzle. But there's a lot going on. It's a very different kind of puzzle than we have seen so far this weekend.
Oh, that's really cool. Anytime you really change up what the what the art style is, it can really affect people. This particular puzzle looks pretty busy. It's one of these city landscape kind of scenes, so you have all sorts of Halloween creatures running around. It looks like there's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on the upper right. There's this nice purple sky, but underneath of it, you can see these white wisps of cloud all over the place. Mm-hmm. So one of the questions that the pairs are going to have to decide is, are we going to sort a whole lot of this up front, or are we going to try to chunk this down and make islands out of it? Whenever you have a new puzzle brand, a lot of times pairs will sort of default to, let's pull the edge and give it a shot, so that way we can have an idea of what the size and scale of it is. If none of these competitors have had a lot of practice with this particular brand, that's going to be a way that you see a lot of people go. We're a minute 30 into this, and a lot of times you're going to see the faster pairs have their flip and initial pull completed in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, sometimes a little bit less. Really kind of depends on what the piece size is on top of that. Right here, you can see Jessa and Becca already a minute and 45 in, and they've split the finish of the rest of the flip, and while Jessa is starting in on that border right away. Becca is one of the top sorters in the puzzle community, so she's going to be doing a lot of feeding to Jessa as we go through here. On the image, figuring out if you're going to go for specific greens on those grasses, but those are split everywhere. This is definitely going to be a tricky puzzle, I think, for a lot of the field.
Yeah, and I think that adding to the complexity of this is that the fact that the border has a lot of purple in it. So a lot of the purple that you're seeing actually in the poster is in the puzzle itself. And so there's not as much information as you might hope on the border there, so it may make it a trickier thing to start with.
Oh, so that you're saying that line of purple is actually connected into the border?
Yeah, I'm made to understand that it's about a little more than half of the piece, maybe even a substantial amount of the piece.
Yeah, that makes it really, really tricky, because then you can't use quite as much of any color tools in order to try to figure out where they go. So I wonder if a lot of pairs will give it an initial start and then move on once they hit a wall. a lot of times whenever you're working on a puzzle, you'll see pairs either grind through really difficult parts for a while, or they're going to jump from section to section a little bit, or even switch places so that way they can keep the momentum going. Usually if you're spinning your tires for longer than about 10 seconds, it's probably time to either move on or change the way that you're looking at the puzzle a little bit so you can keep getting pieces in.
I'm seeing a lot of similar colors kind of echoed throughout. I'm noticing that especially in the overhead shots that we're seeing here. And because my first thought at looking at this is like, okay, well, there's a lot of individual things you can sort of pull out. But a lot of the colors are sort of the same from one building to another building. So maybe that makes that less easy than one might think. So do you think that this is it's a busy puzzle? It's got a lot of parts to it. Feels like it would be a good puzzle for a pair to sort of divide and conquer. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a tricky puzzle altogether. because you have so much duplication of color, that's going to be a little awkward. And the islands of consistent color are going to be small and separated, right? Like right away there's this lake that's kind of this line, that's kind of this light blue green, and I would hope that a lot of teams or a lot of pairs end up pulling that and creating that anchor point, and then they can branch out from there. I wonder if they're going to go for those houses, because there's a lot of good texture on those log cabins, or some of those houses have like siding panels, and you'll see that in a lot of puzzles where the houses will have angles, or certain textures on the side of them that make life a little bit easier. The thing that's going to be really interesting, and I'm kind of hoping happens, is what pairs are going to go in and go for the color black, because I don't see a lot of black in this entire puzzle, and you can get that anchor. But right here, you can see this pair. They're getting that full top built. I can't quite see the name of who it is, but we're going to see them. It looks
This
like
is
they
the
have
Rainbow Cats right here. Is that what you're...
Oh, this is Rainbow Cats.
Yeah. So this is Diana and Irina, and now we're looking at Zin and Beatrice.
And they're doing a really cool thing where they have, you can see Zin and Beatrice, they have the pieces set above their build area, all in one spot. A lot of times you either have both pairs on the same side or on opposite sides. It looks like they're using what we call the third side, or that shorter side of the table. That way they can both have access to the pieces and the build area simultaneously. It looks like they have a good chunk of the border built out and down into the moon region. For those of you playing at home, a typical 500-piece puzzle has 86 pieces around the border. So that's going to be around 12 to 15% of the entire puzzle. It kind of depends on how they've placed everything out. But getting that purple sky in is really, really strong. I think they started with that moon and then did a sunburst out, because that lighter purple in that white really stands out in contrast to some of those other aspects.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're using the third side, as you say, in that they have the whole entire table. Like, often I'm used to this sort of angle when you have half a table and you're sort of defaulting to this mode. But it does seem like a very efficient use of this space, even though you have all of the rest of the space. In some ways, all of that luxury that we've been talking about all weekend can sort of be misleading, because that can make you much farther away from where all the pieces are. You're, like you can see here, the Dolores Park puzzlers, like they've got a wide spread about where all of their pieces are, and they've got some they're working on one end, but they got to go all the way to the other end of the table if they want some of those pieces.
Yeah, but and this is where I often say that puzzling is a game of trade-offs, right? Every move you make has an advantage and a disadvantage. The way they have their set up right now, the box is closer to them, so they can do a lot more image checking, which is excellent. You can see this pair right here. I think that's Ali Amdel, and I'm not sure who the partner is.
Right, Ali and
off the top of my
Andrea.
head. Thank you very much. They already have almost the full border done and a lot of that purple sky built out. I think they're going to try to do a lot of DRing, the way they're kind of checking the pieces and then the image and then dropping them in. Really, really strong tactic on a busy puzzle. And it's going to keep you from getting a handful of pieces in your hand, not knowing what to do, and then having to set them back down, which is excellent right here. They're off to a really, really great clip.
They are. And we're going to take a break here because we have some folks who can tell us a little bit more about this puzzle. Go ahead and lean right up into the mic and introduce yourself for us.
Good morning. I'm Amanda Hunter, and the creator and founder of Good World Puzzles. And we are thrilled to be here today and be part of this Portland Jigsaw Masters, and to have our puzzle picked for the finale for the duo is just a big thrill. And I would also like to introduce the artist that created the artwork for Halloween Town, Jake Tedesco.
Hi, I'm Jake Tedesco, and thank you for having me. I hope everyone's enjoying my busy puzzle.
Yeah, it brings for me. It brings back a lot of nostalgia. I love it for that respect. It brings a different kind of puzzle we were just talking about than we've seen all weekend. Tell me a little bit about your inspiration for this.
Well, I'm a big sci-fi and vintage horror fan, and when we started doing these puzzles, this has been going since, I don't know, 2017, 18 or so. It's always been map-based. So we started with our Christmas Town puzzle, which was a collection of Christmas stories and movies and things like that. So with the Halloween Town, we decided to kind of put that on steroids. And I've been going through every horror sci-fi film I could possibly think of and putting a reference to just about anything you could possibly imagine.
What I love about this is that you've got a list of things on both sides of the puzzle box that you can look for in the image. So once you've got the image assembled, you're not necessarily done enjoying the image.
Yeah, that was kind of the point, almost a Where's Waldo type influence. And you notice there's 50 things listed, and it says, and more.
There's many, many more.
So I will give you the one thing that is going to be the most difficult to find is the Tingler. And if anyone's a Vincent Price fan out there, good luck with that one.
You, sir, are my hero for finding a way to put that into a puzzle. That is amazing. That is a deep cut.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
There are many, many things in this puzzle that I have never even heard of. I mean, I've known kind of vaguely some of the titles of these movies, but Jake is, as he said, such a fan. He really just knocked it out of the box. I absolutely adore this puzzle and the image and the artwork. So we'll have some over there afterwards if anybody wants them and to take home. And we're just thrilled to be here. It's really great to see. And we were wondering how this was going to play because the puzzles that have been used for the contests so far, all the tournaments have been quite different than ours. But I can see these puzzlers are really on it. They're already moving quickly through lots and lots of the pieces. It's amazing.
So, Amanda, I've seen you kind of wandering around throughout the weekend. Is this your first puzzle competition?
Well, no, this is our second puzzle competition.
Okay.
This is the second one. We had Christmas Town in Hermosa Beach. We had for a while there, a couple of years, we had a Good World Peace Factory, and we just closed it in December because we're moving up here to Portland. Everything is going to be Portland-based very
That's
soon.
great.
So, but in that time period, we were approached by a couple that does these kind of tournaments, and they asked if they could do one at the Peace Factory. So we had one for Christmas Town, and it was so exciting. So when I met Lane and he told me about this one, I was just like, oh man, this is going to be so fun. I really, really love it. This one is much, much bigger than the one we had, but ours was fun too.
Nice. So, Jake, when you're building a puzzle like this, did you have speed puzzling in mind specifically?
Oh, no, not at all. To be honest, I feel sorry for the speed puzzlers trying to work on this one.
We are seeing in the chat a little bit of people saying, gosh, I love these kinds of puzzles, but they're hard to speed run.
Yeah, well, no, I had some of the competitors yesterday looking for hints, and of course, we didn't give them any. But a couple of them came up and said, we do not like these puzzles for speed. So,
How does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, again, that was not my intent. I like to have, I want it to be an image that you can enjoy and kind of get lost in, which is probably not good when you're trying to do it as fast as possible. So I understand both sides of the spectrum, but I think for a finale, right, maybe a little bit more of a challenge. So
yeah, we do like to see the level of difficulty upped as we go throughout a competition weekend. So I think that you've brought the increased competition or increased difficulty.
Well, I'm curious to see how the times are affected. I was blown away by the speeds I saw this weekend. So I'm just curious to see if this takes any more time or if they do it just as quick, which would not surprise me either.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of in the chat around 45 minutes, and that feels about right given what we're seeing here because we're about halfway through the time that they took to complete puzzles yesterday. And we're seeing substantially less than half the puzzle being stood up now. There's a lot of detail to go find. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see them taking a little bit longer here.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's going to be about 1,000 pieces with dead trees on them. So
I feel like
when we
intentionally, which is lovely.
We had no idea that this was ever going to be used as a speed puzzle when we created it. As Jake said, we really wanted to get something that really resonated with all the Halloween fans out there. I mean, it's such a big holiday and there's not a lot of puzzles for Halloween that we've seen, and this one was just, I mean, of course it's Jake's imagination that put all this together, but I'm just deeply thrilled with it.
Now, is there some sort of guiding spirit to the kinds of puzzles that your company is putting together?
Well, we've started kind of a holiday series, and we've accomplished Christmas Town and Halloween Town, and we're not sure what we're going to do next, but definitely on the docket, because one of our traditional things that we've done, this is a breakaway. These last two puzzles we have traditionally made over the first few years of the puzzle company. Maps. We've made these hand-painted maps, which Jake has created 3 of. We have about a half dozen cities in the beach area of Hermosa Beach, the South Bay, the 5 cities that make up the South Bay.
South of Los Angeles.
South of Los Angeles, so south of Venice Beach, for those that know and don't know about that area of California. And we were making these, I've made these hand-painted maps for many, many years. And people over this time have said, why don't you ever make a puzzle? And so we finally thought, well, okay. So we started making these maps of towns, of beach cities. And now that we're moving up to Portland, we're thinking about mapping Portland. So stand back. That's one of the things we'll be doing too, because that's one of our mainstays of our company. And we'll be looking for other holiday-themed puzzles as well.
That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing a Portland map-based puzzle. Anything else that we should tell the folks listening along about either this puzzle or your company?
Well, one of the things that we do with the Good World Puzzles, it's part of our mission of Good World Peace, which is a nonprofit that we started a few years ago, well, about 15 years ago. And what we do is we bring teens together and we have intent talks and we do all these activities for teens. We really support mental health in teens. And this is part of what we do with this puzzle, is that the funding from the puzzles help us do that, help us keep that going. And we're hoping to get this started up here in Portland.
That's amazing. Well, I look forward to it. Thank you so much for coming up. And
You're very welcome.
Where can people find out more about you guys?
Goodworldpuzzles.com is our puzzle site. It's also on Etsy, and it will be on Etsy. And I mean, this puzzle will be on Etsy soon. There's other puzzles on Etsy already, and at goodworldpuzzles.com, and also at gwpop.org. That's gwpop.org is where you can also find out about our nonprofit mission with teens and also see all the puzzles and all the things that we do.
Great. Jake, any last things?
No, just thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here. This has been exciting. And again, good luck to all the puzzlers. I hope this one isn't too traumatic for anybody.
Well, I feel like that you've brought the appropriate Halloween theme. You've brought a little bit of fear, a little bit of terror, maybe in the best possible way. So thanks for coming by, you guys.
Than't you very much.
All right, thank
for
you.
having us.
Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, a little bit of insight.
It's always handy to have a little bit of adrenaline popped in while you're doing some puzzling because it can give you that edge going. And it's also handy if you're familiar with a lot of horror movies or just Halloween lore in general. Your eye can catch on to what things are, which can give you a little bit of a boost whenever there's uncertainty, right? Is this a claw attached to a werewolf or is it a claw attached to a different creature?
Right.
Which is a little thing, but if that gives you one more piece in, that's an edge. Well, it's a piece that goes in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking at Damn It Fit. That would be, I believe that is Cosmo and Leslie. Who've been actually doing really great this weekend. They got the border stood up and they're working through. It looks like is that the middle of the street on the one side?
Yeah, I think it's that chunk of lake in the middle there, and they also have some of the buildings built out as well, which is really, really strong. I kind of like how they're doing this across the table, up and down, and it's really going to depend on is the upside down partner as strong upside down as they are right side up. There's several puzzlers that are bats and are ambipuzzledrous, right, and can do either side pretty easily, but sometimes going upside down can really throw you for a loop. So it's always exciting whenever somebody really specializes it and can crush it.
We were watching, I think it was Diana Jaffe do a puzzle upside down yesterday, and it was fun to see. We were speculating as to why that might be, and she said on Instagram, she said it was a while. By the time she realized she was upside down, it was too late to change it. So we assumed that there was a lot of strategy going on. I'm not saying there wasn't a lot of strategy going on, but there was other things going on as well.
sometimes the strategy is just keep moving forward, right?
Absolutely.
You can run into a wall and just go, okay, I can either take a few seconds to try to get around it, or I can just keep charging on through. And that is a strategic decision which way you're going to end up going on. I think, looking at this, Rob, I think we might see times that are closer to like 29:32 in
You
here.
think it's going to be that
Um,
fast? All right.
I really do. One of the things that might help this is that it's a random cut. So even though it's a busy puzzle, because you have unique piece shapes throughout, I think that you're going to see an acceleration in towards the end with some of the pairs as they really box things in, and then they can use that shape work rather than just the image in order to finish up.
I see in the chat some an early request that probably has been answered, but just in case, this is a 500-piece puzzle. It was originally slated as a 550, but this one is in fact 500. And I know there's a request to see more of the field, and we've definitely passed that along. And I think we're going to see more of the field. We'll be drawing back here, as you can see, much to what Jim is saying. Dolores Park benchwarmers actually starting to close in on here, so we'll probably sneak back to focusing on these guys here real soon, though. And then the Straight Sisters in their stripe.
The trademark stripes.
Yeah.
Every time you see the stripes, you got to go stripes. And it's amazing. Their puzzling is as clear as their stripes are. They just go right in lines. You can see that they make very direct movements from the pile back to the puzzle. A lot of puzzlers, they stand all the way up, they turn, they look back, and they sort of mosey between one or the other. These two go straight from the pile right back to the build field. There's not a lot of delay. I also like how they have the poster on one side of the board as well as the box on the other. So that way, whichever side they're closer to, they can take that extra glance right there and try to get that image in their mind. Really, really strong tools.
Yeah,
And
it looks like. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, who? I was trying to read the names of this one. But they are also going in on those houses. I think they did a little bit of sorting ahead of time. It looks like there's a big pile there, and they're going to be able to tease out a lot of those houses as they keep working through. Really good play.
Yeah, and we're as per usual with I think a jigsaw puzzling competition. We're struggling a little bit to see who's where. It's challenging for us to see who the names are. So we'll try to talk about who the specific people are as we get a chance to. But here's a shot of the broader field. We're back here with the Dolores Park benchwarmers, and that's starting to fill in. So do you imagine that they will just continue at this pace, or do you think that they got the things that are easy to knock out done and that they're going to start slowing down as they have to fill in a lot of the detail?
I think that they have a lot of the easy targets pulled out and working really well. I think the slowdown is going to be more of a just the cars maintaining its velocity than an outright slow. Because of the way that they have these gaps in the puzzle, they're really going to be able to use the shape. And then I sometimes call it feature plus one, where you can go, I'm looking for gray plus black right here, crush it, right? And they can use that to really quickly thin out the rest of that pile. I think we'll see an acceleration once they're down to like the last 50 pieces or so. It looks like they still have about, I want to say 120 left, maybe closer to 175.
I love that what I think of as slowing down for me, which is a pretty dramatic change in how I puzzle, is really just as you said, more of a maintenance or going slightly less super fast for most of the rest of the people's. Because I was watching yesterday a lot of the teams and pairs, in areas we expected them to start slowing down, there was dark or complex. We looked back over and they just plowed right through them.
Well, and for a lot of the top puzzlers, what they end up doing is changing the lens that they're looking at the puzzle, right? They'll either start looking at the shape, they'll start looking at details. They might move around a little bit. So that way they're maintaining that high speed just in different ways. What can happen sometimes is you get to a dark chunk of the puzzle and you go, I don't know what to do. And so you start spinning your tires a little bit trying to solve that out. And that's a huge experience bump to be able to have. When you've done hundreds, thousands of puzzles, you start to see similarities between how certain sections work. If you've done hundreds of puzzles that have trees in them, you have a pretty good idea of which part of a tree might be a trunk versus which is a branch. And that gives you a little bit more information to help solve these out.
Yeah, or even orientation. Once do you do enough trees? Sort of, you can figure out the orientation of the trunk by the way the wood is going. Little clues really start to clue you in as we look at the rainbow cats here.
Oh yeah, look at and you can see that they're starting to get to that point like you were mentioning, Rob, where they're out of good options and they're down into the details, a little bit of the murk, and so they're doing a little bit more of double checking the image before putting things in, and sometimes that can feel like it's taking forever. You know, those 4 seconds looking at the image, being like, okay, where does it go? Where does it go? It feels like forever, but 4 seconds is still a fantastic pace to be getting any one piece in. So use that tool to make sure that you keep moving. And the Rainbow Cats are chugging along just fine and dandy. They're getting into that road work and bouncing around between different sides. And I think they're kind of splitting up who's working on which part of the on the roads, which is really smart because
There's
then you're
just
not
so
having
much
a lot
gray.
of hand. Yeah, it's a lot of gray, and you got to get into the details.
Yeah, I remember I was talking with somebody that they were mentioning how I was heading into a great sentence and then I got distracted by what was going on here. It's just so riveting for me. I don't know. I'm always so super engaged in watching, which is why one of the things that I think that you're amazing at doing is just kind of keeping talking while you're looking at things. Look at how well Becca and Jessa are doing actually here.
I know. I also love how organized they are. You can see that as they get through a couple of pieces, they put them over on that far side of the table. So that way, you often hear of puzzle jail, but and so that way they're not triple checking the same piece or having one person try it and the other person try it and going nowhere. You just set it off to the side and then you can clean it up later, which is excellent move. I also like how Becca has that poster right in front of her, and in that upside down configuration. I know you were talking about this before. Why might
Yeah,
they sort of flip the orientation? It's so that way it matches the way you're looking at it, so you're not doing an extra mental rotation of the image in your head.
yeah, yeah.
We can also see the bench warmers really they're heading in towards that cleanup stage. I think they might have. I overestimated earlier. They might be down to the last 100 pieces here, and they're doing a lot more DRing. They're checking that they're picking up a piece, checking the image, and this is an ongoing shift in puzzling. Is do you look at the piece first and then the image, or do you look at the image first then the piece, or do you look at the
Mm-hmm.
whole that you were working on? And those are all different tools in the belt that can help you get through these puzzles faster. And a lot of the top pairs, they're able to switch through each of those very fluidly based on what's in the image.
Yeah, and one of the things that the thing that I was trying to remember earlier is that I remember talking with somebody that said, one of the things to keep in mind is that if you're going through and you're spending some time looking at pieces, like especially at the elite level, these people know how everybody else is likely to be encountering these things, and so they know if they're spending time really looking at a piece, looking at the board, looking at a piece, that everybody else is probably doing some version of that as well. So for me, it would be sort of panic-inducing to be like, I'm having to actually study the image pretty hard to find out where things are. But a lot of the elite folks seem to have a sense of like, well, if I've got to do this, everybody else is probably doing this too.
Yeah, and that the mental game is absolutely huge. Being able to estimate how much time you're spending on any one part of the puzzle is a big component, and also not letting other people get into your brain. Right? You're absolutely right. A lot of times, a hard puzzle will come out, and it's real easy to slip into that sense of, okay, if it's hard for me, it's hard for everybody. So I'll take my foot off the gas a little bit. That's
Yeah.
exactly when you need to accelerate, because if you go, hey, if it's hard for me, it's hard for everybody, I'm going to push through it anyway. Then you get that little bit of extra speed and you don't have that mental bog down of this is too hard for me, right? A lot of times your brain focuses on what you're thinking about. And if you're saying this is hard, this is slow, you're going to start thinking and feeling that it's hard and slow and not going up to your full potential.
Yeah, I remember like talking to Devin Donaldson, and she's like, "You just
Mhm.
remember what fast feels like." And I know that Amelia Lieberman also talks about just kind of keeping that intensity up, and so that's part of the mental game of doing all of this. Is just like you need to make sure that you're in it all the time, and those seconds really matter over the course of like small puzzle movements and small mental lapses. They can all add up, especially when we often see things finishing by just seconds apart.
And you can see here the bench warmers are coming up. I think it's probably the last 50 pieces or so, and I think this is where we're going to see a pretty big acceleration as they start getting fewer and fewer pieces that are duplicated in terms of color and shade. They're going to really be able to use that shape of the piece in order to get it in. And you can see any piece they pick up now, they can probably sink in somewhere. So there's not going to be this pick up, put down of a lot of things. Jessa and Becca, they're into the last, I want to say about 120 pieces. And because they're a little bit sorted out, they may be able to push through here. But I think the bench warmers are going to have the piece advantage in the overall lead coming into the final close here at the 28-minute mark of the Portland Jigsaw Masters.
Yeah, I think the bench warmers are down by at least half as in many pieces that they're putting in. I love that their fancy shirts with the blue tape and the bench warmers across the back.
It's phenomenal what puzzlers are able to come up with in a pinch. The ingenuity to make sure that we know who they are and they can see each other clearly and easily is a huge advantage. I really like watching Hannah's hands move because she very quickly moves to the pile, sort of hovers for a second, grabs one, and then sinks it in. It's really, really fun to watch. And her partner here. Very methodical, similar to like Kristen Thove, being able to grab a piece and go da 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 da, sink it, da 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 da, sink it. And they're now in that acceleration part. Anything they pick up, they can totally sink in. They can just search over the entire map and drop it. They're coming into the last, I want to say 7 pieces or so. They're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces left, down to 4. They're sinking it in. Hannah grabs one, sinks it in. Her partner grabs another one. They're down to the last 3, getting them in. You can see them sort of playing Twister over top of each other, getting those last couple of pieces in, and they finish at 29.
29.
Congratulations.
Yes, well done. And that's Caitlin McCluskey's Hannah Doyle's partner in the Dolores Park bench warmers, which I think is an amusing name, given that they're clearly in there not warming any benches at the moment. Not even sitting close to a bench at this point. Looks like we got AJ Fitz with Ali and Andrea doing coming up on the end here too. Can't quite see because of the box, but they've got a lot of just probably, I don't know, 50, 60 pieces, if even that.
And there's the Rainbow Cats right in there with them. This is going to be a tight race coming into the end. They are both in acceleration mode. I think Irina has a lot of practice with that random cut from doing both Irina and Diana have so much practice with random cut doing the Rainbow Cats puzzle over and over and over again. They have a really good sense of shape work at this stage. They may be able to accelerate and catch up here and maybe overtake AJ Fitz here. AJ Fitz, they're grabbing pieces, trying to get those last bits of green in, but it's a little bit chaotic because it's so dark over there. Lighting is a huge thing right now, and those dark greens might be overlapping with some of the other dark pieces on the gray. The Rainbow Cats getting more and more pieces, and you can see they're barely even looking at the image at this point because they are just going, here's the shape, I'm sinking it in. They're not looking at the image at all. Fitz occasionally looking back up the image to double check things, but we're going to come down to the wire here between those two. Becca and Jessa making excellent progress, being very methodical as they sink in more and more pieces. All of those trees might be the bane, might be coming back to scare them, haunt them a little bit from the grave of Peace Jail.
It's back
coming
and forth
out after Becca and Jessa, but. Rainbow Cats and Fitz back and forth. This is going to be really, really tight. I think they're almost piece even, Rob. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that I every time I look towards one and the other, I'm like, oh, they're ahead. So I think that we're just flat out. It's going to come down to a piece or two.
Oh man, this is so close.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't quite see all of the pieces on the AJ Fitz side because they're blocked by the box. I think we have a much better view of what Rainbow's got going on, and I think that Rainbow's just a little bit ahead, but only by
Rainbow's
a nose.
Just a few hairs ahead. I think they're down to the last 4 pieces. AJ down to about 10. I think Rainbow is going to be able to take it at this point. Getting into the last pieces. Sink it. Come on, do it. We believe in you. Are there a couple pieces on the board?
Looks like it. There we go.
Congratulations to Rainbow Cats.
Nicely done. We've lost track of the AJ Fitz, so I want to see how they can fish. Oh, here we go. And they're right there
just
behind.
Only a few seconds.
Crazy.
Wow, this is phenomenal puzzling.
Can I just tell the audience that this is the reason that I invited Jim on this is because he brings such a level of excitement that reflects how I feel on the inside. I'm like, yeah, that's what I mean. You just do such a great job, Jim. I'm in awe every time. Gives me goosebumps.
I appreciate that, but I am in awe of these puzzlers to be able to maintain that focus in that driving last few handfuls of seconds. The adrenaline goes. We've seen so many puzzlers; their hands start shaking a little bit as they come into the end. Becca and Jessa, you can see
Yeah,
the
little
adrenaline
handshake.
hitting Jessa a little bit. Yeah, just that little wobble. And that's an okay thing to have. It means you're excited. It means you're ready to roll. But it also means that sometimes you have a little bit trouble getting those pieces in just right. Can Becca and Jessa keep this under 34 minutes? I think they're going to be able to. They just got to keep on cruising around here. They are fantastic puzzlers. I always get a kick out of watching them. You can see that they're doing a lot more piece then whole rather than double checking the image at this point. That is locked in. They don't even need to look at it. They can
That's
just
right.
blast on through.
Yep, they're using the shapes, they're using the little color cues that they've got, and they're just pushing all the way through. They're not slowing down at all. They're driving, getting the fastest version of this that they can.
And they come in.
There they've got it.
Congratulations. Oh, man. So many fast puzzlers at the Portland Jigsaw Masters. This is phenomenal to have a top 4 finish like that. And there's still more to come.
I was going to say, we've got the Dolores Park Puzzlers down there on the screen, and we've got Twin Sanity over here just finishing up. So this is going to be, I wonder if this will be true all the way through the field, if this is just as fast, much faster of a puzzle than I had anticipated it being.
I think it's a little bit faster, but also don't discount. These are genuinely fantastic puzzlers. They make the hard look easy.
They really
right?
do.
Right? Like anyone else could look at a lot of this and go, this is terrifying. And these puzzlers just go, great, I'm going to break this image down into manageable chunks and plow right through it. You can see the Stripe Sisters coming in on the close. Oftentimes, their close is very even paced. They don't get this like acceleration bump, but they're so methodical and accurate that they can just keep on going one at a time, right in. And I really think that P shape is helping them out here on this one. But they are cruising into a fantastic top 10 finish. And right there, I think another pair is really close. This might
Dolores
be a nail
Park.
biter. I think Dolores Park, they're pushing into the end. They might be able to overtake here. They're down to the last 6 pieces or so. Stripes down to about eight or so. I think Dolores is going to overtake here. They're getting those last ones in. That little bit of adrenaline sneaking it in. But Stripes
Look at this.
finish it out a few seconds ahead.
Yes.
Oh, so close. Congratulations to
simultaneous excitement and disappointment that looked like they finished just right behind the Twin Sanity, the Dolores Park Puzzlers.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of those things where it's easy to kind of post game that and be like, if I only did this, if I only did that, and that's absolutely the case. But there's just a lot of luck, randomness, and things that go on in the day that separate it. So if you're in the top echelon of people, sometimes it's going to go your way and sometimes it's not. So I feel like you can't beat yourself up too much about that. As we've go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say a great finish for Dan Fit. Really get it under the wire. No, it's really lovely, and you're absolutely right, Rob. There's so many factors that add up to just those couple of seconds. It could even be the case that if you have an unlucky initial dump, you have a few more pieces face down. That's 3 or 4 seconds of extra flipping that you have to do before doing any of the puzzling, and that can be enough to make the difference. So there is a little bit of RNG or random number generation in here that can play a role. And we come in to see another pair wrapping up here very quickly, closing it out.
This is organized chaos.
Organized chaos. Nothing chaotic about this. Full throttle, no brakes. They get those last couple of pieces in, just over 36. Fantastic.
Nice job, local team, doing well. Huge fan of them.
Wonderful. I also love seeing in the background the finishers are cheering for each other. It's not a thing of I'm done and I'm walking away. Everybody is excited for everybody else, and I really hope that we get a full room clear. And I think that's very possible with this group of excellent puzzlers.
Yeah, I was noticing that earlier, that as the top teams finished, there was like the team finished and that pair would go hug the other pairs, and then more pairs would be hugging other pairs. It's just a reflection of the spirit of the community that the whole jigsaw puzzling engenders.
Well, you need a lot of spirit when up against the army of the dead inside of this Halloween puzzle. All of these little feature creatures inside of here can send a tingle up the spine, as it were. But Frankensteining these pieces together is a phenomenal job, especially on something so busy and that has overlapping colors all over the place. These pairs are doing an excellent job.
Now, it would be interesting to see if the people who are at the top, like you said before, like they really look at a puzzle as a job to be done. A lot of people still, everybody struggles with pieces that they don't like, or puzzle images that they don't like. But I do wonder, as you move down the field, the folks are more influenced by the fact that this may look like a challenging puzzle. It may have more of a mental impact on their kind of desire to go fast or their ability to go fast.
Yeah, a lot of times you can have this reflex of, oh no, this isn't my image, right? We hear this all the time where somebody's like, I am a gradient specialist, or I am I really like landscapes, or I like art, different paint strokes even, right? And if it's not that, you can get a little deflated. I tell people all the time, make friends with it for, the next 30, 40 minutes. That is your favorite puzzle to do, right? It's okay to lie to yourself a little bit to get excited about it. That way you can go, you know what? This is the best thing that I'm going to do. I'm having the best time right now, and this is a blast. Because that helps keep you out of that pit of despair. I know you've mentioned that a couple of times, right? Not everybody is able to be super excited about every puzzle, but if you can tell yourself, hey, I'm having a good time, this is going to be a fun puzzle, you can convince yourself and then keep moving quickly rather than having those other thoughts overtake. And we can see, get it together here. I think they're going to have that acceleration. They're not even looking at the image anymore. They can smell the end of the end of this. There's blood in the water of Jaws here as they come into the close, finishing up those last, I want to say about 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're down to the last 10 pieces. And they are bouncing back and forth, getting those last ones together. Look at how just the physicality to get those last pieces in after 39 minutes of puzzling is amazing.
And one of the things I love about this team is Stephanie and Rachel Tate Wong is that they weren't on my radar before this competition. I don't think they'd done a lot of competitions, and so we saw them show up, and it sort of blew my mind. And I always love when that happens.
Oh man, anytime people come out of the woodwork and are just excellent at a thing is just a wonderful experience, because they often have slightly different ways of doing something we've all been looking at for a while, and those little tweaks help advance not just themselves, but also all of the other puzzlers, because you get new ideas of how to be a little faster, a little better, and having that extra competition is really, really great.
I was seeing if we can get the scores up here so that we can take a look and see how the various teams finished relative to each other.
Oh wow, this is absolutely amazing. Look at that finishing time for the Dolores Park Benchwarmers, 29 minutes 11 seconds. Really, really impressive on a busy, same colory puzzle all over the place. I know that the artists were trying to trip people up, but I don't think they could slow down the Benchwarmers, the Rainbow Cats, the Fits. Wow, they just really blew this out of the water.
It's true. I mean, it did slow them down. The last round that the Dolores Park Benchwarmers were in was a 22-minute round, so they did give them 7 extra minutes, but it was not like they slowed them down much. It's hard to slow down a tank moving full speed.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we've got a couple of more local puzzlers, half of the Puzzle Sharks here. Bonsai, this is JD and Davey. Looks like they're making a good progress, getting down right to the end, probably 20, 25 pieces left.
I wonder if their name gave them an affinity for getting those trees. Sorry, who was it that just finished? I saw him in the corner.
I can't quite tell who that is.
Well, we'll try to get the name here shortly, but congratulations. Keeping this kind of tricky puzzle under 41 minutes is impressive. I'll keep saying it time and time again. These puzzlers are making a tough puzzle look easy. If you sit down and try to do this and you've not done a jigsaw puzzle in a long while, it's gonna hit you a little bit. And even more so, this is a brand I don't think a lot of these puzzlers are familiar with.
No.
So having a new brand, new color, new artwork on top of that, it's really, really impressive to see how well these pairs perform in very, very even standing.
Yeah, and it looks like a unusual piece cut. So the brand, the cut, everything makes it different. Yeah, nice job, Davey and JD.
Congrats to the Bonsai.
Looks like we're about 20% of the way through the floor here. So people are starting
we're 20% through already, and we're not even halfway through the time?
I think that's right, yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Holy
people
cow.
are cruising. And like this team, who's again can't see the name here, but unfortunately, but they don't look like they're moving particularly fast. But also, they got a pretty big chunk of this puzzle done. It's not like they're moving slow. Whatever they're doing, they're doing it well. There's other half of the puzzle sharks here. This is Maggie and Marissa.
And they're just swimming away through this puzzle right here.
Nice.
What are they going to do in order to finish up? Are we going to see that physicality boost? I like that they're using that sorting tray to make sure that they have a jail for what they've tried before. They're down to the last 4 pieces. They're both using their right hand, left hand, getting those in. Sink it! Congratulations!
Nice. Did we see Fusion finish? I didn't catch them. I noticed in the background they're done.
We may have, or I may have missed it. I've been so excited, and sometimes the second thing to go is your memory, but I can't always see what the names are on the cards.
Yes. Second thing to go is your memory. I can't remember what the first thing is.
Wait, what were you talking about?
I said the second thing to go is your memory, and I don't remember what the first thing is. So we're seeing part of Blem here, and again, another local team. They just finished, and we're seeing them fall fast right now. So I think that struggle for the people on the floor, the people who are the volunteers who are trying to keep track of everybody's time. Critical part of this infrastructure, obviously, is because that's who records your time, and if they're not able to be near you to see what your time is, if they're not recording it faithfully and accurately, then that puts you in a different position. So obviously, shout out to all the folks here. They're having to work real hard today.
Oh yeah, I would imagine that they all need to have their running shoes on, bouncing from table to table with how close some of these finishes are. It's really impressive. And you get, even though we're over the 44-minute mark here, it's really exciting to see people push through the slog and still get the best time that they possibly can, right? A lot of these people just wanted to make it into the finals, and now they're here. Now they got to put up the best time that they can, and they are charging through. You can see that that this pair can't quite catch the name, but they're going piece for piece. They're doing a little bit of image checking. You can see one of them is using that left hand as a plate. You can see. I love those shirts. They're also doing a lot more image checking, but they're down to the last handful. And it's so easy to feel the fatigue after 30 minutes and, just sort of hit that wall of like, okay, all of these pieces are starting to blend together. And that's where you can just take a breath, blink a few times, recenter, and then accelerate.
It's funny you were talking about fatigue, and in the shot we had just a minute ago, I saw somebody walk by in the near ground, my puzzle partner and partner in life, Rachel Shields, looking like she's feeling some of the fatigue as she goes wandering by the side of the camera as they switch sides. I have to say I'm quite proud. We're not particularly speedy puzzlers, but the bottom 2 teams are both represented by my teams and family, so congrats to both my wife and my daughter for making it into the final rounds in the duos.
That's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And it's not always about hitting that top mark. It's about doing the best that you can on the day, which is really, really impressive.
Absolutely. We get a lot of joy these days out of just doing our best job of the puzzle. Like, obviously, we want to do well against everybody else. We want to compete hard. But, we're looking to beat our time and feel like we executed a good puzzle well.
And that's the hardest thing, is making sure that you left everything that you can on the table.
One of my favorite team names there, Pair Force One.
Oh man, that's
the Coastbusters, which seems appropriate. And there was a shot of the Puzzle Sharks there taking a lot of Puzzle Sharks and Blem, the Portland contingent, getting their photo taken.
I'm so glad that we're having a big event up in Portland, because you get so many local pairs and teams able to come out to these kinds of events that may not be able to travel huge distances. So being able to highlight, a lot of these puzzlers is really, really fantastic. And I'm excited to see them and where their puzzling career goes from here.
Yeah, I do like that we get a good mix of solid, like we have a great community of puzzlers here in the Portland area, some strong puzzlers. People come down for this event from Washington. They come up from California. They come from even farther than that. But it's a nice draw of people where if you're interested in jigsaw puzzling, especially if you've sort of been doing it for a little while competitively, it's a great way to sort of get your feet wet in the broader community and see how you enjoy competing at a slightly bigger stage, and gives you the opportunity to meet a lot of great puzzlers in your area.
Especially at an event as exciting as the Portland Jigsaw Masters. And look, we have a puzzle mascot there, making sure that the puzzle's completed, keeping
And
an eye on the box and everything.
yeah, so that was Kelly Wellesley, I think. But interestingly, beside the stuffed animal was a Zatco new version of his puzzle holder, his puzzle top holder. It's got the rounded top and a slightly set out bottom lip so that you can find the box into the holder much faster.
Yeah, there's a lot of puzzlers that have tried to solve the riddle of how do I get the box into the holder easily and quickly. And Zacho's always playing around with things, trying to make life easier and better for speed puzzlers. He's a fantastic individual.
We've seen a number of people around, especially in the pairs and individuals, with tape that they've been using to adhere the posters to the box and put the box in the holders. Is that something you're familiar with?
Yeah, I've heard of that happening a couple of times. One of the ones that I've seen started to spring up in places is putting a little magnet inside of your holder and then holding a separate one, so that way you can toss the poster onto the holder, throw the magnet on, and it just sticks without having to do a lot of other things.
I love that. I love the evolution of the accessories and the approaches to it. One of the things that always gets me excited is that jigsaw puzzling is competitive jigsaw puzzling in the modern era is really still in its infancy. So we have a lot of, we might think that we've seen a lot of approaches and a lot of the techniques, but I bet you over the next few years, we will continue to see a lot of techniques that we didn't think about or we're only just starting to see become standard as the whole approach to puzzling evolves. I'm really excited to see how that goes, because you see that in all kinds of sports and activities that once they get started, new people come in with new ideas that people just hadn't had the time to think about, or never, like, their way of doing it worked real well for them, and somebody is coming in wanting to shake something up and they bring a totally different perspective on it, and suddenly everybody's doing something new.
Absolutely. I mean, the debate is still ongoing about border versus no border first, right? Or little things like that. Let alone, should you DR ahead, or should you do a full sort or a semi sort? All of those different strategies. There's little tweaks to them that can add up, and it might even be the case that there's not a one specific true algorithm to be the fastest, except for on each puzzle has a slightly different methodology. We're not entirely sure yet, but I'm excited to see what the data and the puzzlers keep coming up with over time.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if maybe we can get some of the folks who have finished up here so we can have a chat with them. I'd love to hear what they thought of this particular puzzle.
Yeah, that would be great. And I love seeing right here. I can't quite see the names, but that's Sick Hippie and his partner coming into the final round of close. There's so many Twitch puzzlers here today, or puzzlers that do puzzles on Twitch, where you can watch them puzzle in real time, send them comments, and they'll respond back. And it's a really laid back space where you can just hang out with puzzlers doing their thing at speed and learn a lot and have fun. Congratulations. Great finish.
All right, I'm going to step away for just a sec, see if I can bring somebody up. You mind keeping track of the conversation for a bit?
Oh, absolutely! I love having full, unadulterated control of the mic. It's one of my favorite things.
All right, thanks,
Yeah,
Tim.
I'm gonna go on a Star Wars rant for the next several minutes. I hope nobody was upset about that. Totally kidding. But we're coming in on the 51-minute mark here at the Portland Jigsaw Masters, and you can see that several of the pairs, they're finishing up. This pair right here, can't quite see the name, but they smell that end coming, and their physicality goes up. And that's one of the hardest things to do whenever you're speed puzzling, is making sure that your physicality is as high as it can be for as long as it can. A lot of these puzzlers, their back is going to start hurting because it's an awkward bend to be sitting for a while. We saw some people earlier that were standing kind of split-legged as far as they could, so that way they wouldn't have to bend at the back so much as just their knees and their waist a little bit. Really, really phenomenal stuff. But it looks like one piece here coming into the final close. They have about 6 pieces left. Can they keep this under 52 minutes? Go, go, go. We're going to see if we can get them. If you're in the chat, cheer them on. We're really excited for them. Can they get it under 52 minutes? There's only 11 seconds left. There's down to 3, 4, 5 pieces. There's a couple hidden in their hands. One more piece over there, too. Can they get it in? Just under 52 minutes. Congratulations, One Piece.
All right, Jim, I had no doubt that you would be able to keep that going. I super appreciate that. I was able to go out and drag kicking and screaming a couple of folks back up to the table. Go ahead and put your headphones on there and scooch right up into the mic. Welcome back. It is good to see you. The bench warmers. That seems like a bit of a misnomer. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, initially our name was Hannah and Caitlin. So, yeah, we knew we had to come up with something. We were spitballing. We had like the B team, the second string, stuff along those lines.
So what did you think of this puzzle? It seemed like I was personally expecting it would slow folks down. It did slow you down a little bit. Honestly, not terribly much. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I think like right away we knew it was going to have to be pick and place.
Yeah, we said that immediately.
Yeah, but I think it worked out well because Caitlin did like all the buildings and the bigger chunks, and then I could like be just placing details while she was doing that.
Yeah.
I think that worked out well for us.
Yeah, which is, we were kind of talking, we haven't done a full like pick and place strategy puzzle before. So we're learning things about ourselves that I like to do the bigger sections, and Hannah is going to do all the little details.
So did you like having sort of a change up in terms of puzzle style?
I would say so.
Yeah,
it was
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was a big surprise that it was like Halloween themed.
Yeah.
There were a lot of fun characters to discover.
A lot of people in the chat were like, this seems like it would be fun to do, but not in a speed context. But you guys didn't struggle with that at all.
I think like if it's hard, you know it's hard for everyone.
Yes.
So that's comforting.
Yes.
It's comforting, but it doesn't slow you down. We were talking, so Jim Eakins is on the line here too, so you'll probably hear him in your head. But he was talking about that. If you're not careful, that can lead you into a false sense of complacency because you know that other people are struggling with it. Maybe that loses your intensity a little bit. Doesn't affect you guys that way?
Oh, it's interesting to think about. I just haven't thought about it like that.
I think we are good at keeping energy up. It was also nice because we were near like Chloe and Sky and Irina and Diana. So
Yes.
I feel like, I don't know, you could feel some intensity.
I did. Every time Chloe likes to talk loudly. So we could hear everything they were saying. And so at one point she yelled Beetlejuice. And I feel like every time she yelled, I was like, right, like we're competing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not just a friendly folks who are just practicing near each other. You probably have too much experience playing or practicing with each other. Like if they're there, they were doing fine.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
Jim, any questions
Well, yeah,
from
I
your
was,
side?
I was going to say, does this particular kind of puzzle lend itself to how you guys operate? I know you were saying doing a lot of the pick and place, the Dead Reckoning is a little different. Did the random cut affect it? Was it different because it's a new brand for you guys? Like, tell me what was the thought process as soon as you opened the bag?
I think as for the random cut, like sometimes the random cut makes it hard to do the edge, but what was nice is that the edge has a purple like border around it, so we were able to like distinguish between the kind of false edges and the real edge.
I
Probably
see.
first time we actually did a full edge pull properly.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
for us.
It was easy to spot. And then, I don't know, what do you think, like new brand wise?
I don't know. I feel like with like speedpuzzling.com, and then we like, even if I'm not doing them in the Bay Area, everyone passes around the puzzles. So we do a lot of different brands, and I'm not shying away from random cut in any way. So I don't know, maybe because we've done so much Cobble Hill and Boardwalk and stuff like that recently, I didn't question like, oh no, it's random cut. It's like this whole weekend's been random cut.
I think one thing we ran into because of the random cut is like, it's not obvious how the little chunks you're building fit together right away. So we had like a bunch of stuff built that already would have fit together. We just didn't notice at first.
Or
So
was
there
in the
a little bit of that.
Connected incorrectly
Yeah.
a couple times,
Yeah.
which we caught it.
Yeah. we
No big
figured it
deal.
out, yeah.
So I was a little concerned. I heard that the border was a lot of purple, so it was a lot of solid color, but there was enough other parts of that you were able to pull it together.
Yeah, there was enough like inside the purple border that I felt like it was doable. And then it was nice because Caitlin sorted out the sky for me like right at the beginning. So then I had the edge done, and then it was much easier to just put stuff into the sky because there's stuff floating around and there's like the tops of buildings.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
If we do this again, I get the sky.
So for people who like sky, even this kind of sky is good.
Yeah, I think because there's like little things inside of it,
Yeah.
you know, and then there's like the moon and kind of a gradient coming out of that.
It's also a pretty color.
Yeah.
I love purple.
Yeah, I love purple too.
That helps.
Did you notice a lot of the content in here, or were you just sort of speeding through and it was all a blur?
I was noticing some stuff. Like,
I wasn't.
I took note of Snoopy being there and like SpongeBob. Someone is dressed as SpongeBob.
I got none of that. I think that goes into like I was building the buildings and kind of focusing on bigger sections, and Hannah got all the detail, which was hard. When I finished the buildings, I was a little at a loss of like, oh my God, where is anything else?
Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Caitlin, how did you? I was gonna ask, when you come out of that mode of being like, okay, the buildings are out, what do I do now? How did you figure out what to do next? What was going through your mind there?
I can't let Hannah down. It was like, am I gonna think about piece shape or am I gonna focus on color? And I was going back and forth. I thought that was really difficult to figure out which one I was gonna go with. Hannah was saying piece shape, and I was trying that, and I don't think that worked for me. I think it was more like where the pavement is darker at the bottom and knowing that those pieces go down there, and then kind of looking at where is there more like green holes missing and what has more green grass left on it, because that's what we had left. And so more thinking about color for me. But did you do piece shape at the end?
I think so. I think at the end I was like, because normally I like pick up a piece and find where it goes, but then at the end I was looking at a hole and then trying to find the piece for that hole, and that was working pretty well. But I think I was like switching a lot.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys? You guys have dominated the Portland duos here.
Well,
Taking it on the road?
we're gonna do a 12-hour puzzle marathon in August as a team. Pairs wise, I don't know. The sky is the limit.
I'm not going to World, so I'm missing out on that.
Yeah.
But Hannah's going to have a good time with Kyle.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard you've got a sponsorship as well.
Yes, Kyle and I are being sponsored by Cobble Hill. We're super excited, and we got some shirt designs in the works. So.
Which I hear you have a hand in.
Yeah, I've been messing around in Adobe Illustrator. I'm working on it.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to both of you. Thank you so much for coming up, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You guys.
It's like we get just a
Two are
couple.
phenomenal puzzlers.
Yeah. They are phenomenal puzzlers and great people as well. Looks like we still have a few people out there. I was trying to get the lay of how many people are out there still puzzling, because I think, as you said, we're likely to see this all kind of everybody get to finish this out. I was trying to see if there were a number of people out there. There's still a number of folks out there making this work. I see Team Slothfit, which is the team that my wife is on, and our other team member, Tiffany Scott. Slothfit's the name of their CrossFit gym.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So their team name became Slothfitters, which is a great pun. Usually I'm the pun creator in the family, so I'm very proud.
Keep Perfect Puzzling here is coming in on the close as well. You can see that I think they've tried to do a little bit of a shape sort down at the bottom, or at least spacing things out a little bit, which is handy because then your eyes don't get caught up in where one piece ends and another begins. You have a little bit more room to really notice what's on each piece. And they're going to wrap it up here. I wonder if they're going to be able to keep it under an hour and 1 minute. Can they get it in the last couple of seconds here? They only have 15 seconds left, maybe 2 pieces. And they crush it. Congratulations.
Nice job. All right, I'm going to go see if I can grab the Rainbow Cats. They're hanging out, but I think they're watching the stream, or they're watching us stream, and so I'm going to go grab them and bring them in. I'll be right back.
All right. No, go try to find the cats. They could be anywhere. When in doubt, try to see if you can bring a mouse with you. It looks like the Peace Whisperers are coming in on their close as well. They have maybe about, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have maybe about 20 pieces remaining, and you can see one is using his left hand, it looks like, the other's right-handed. And so by having the pieces on the same side that their hand is dominant on, they can grab pieces a little bit quicker and then get them over into the build field, which is a really cool way to make sure that both puzzlers are evenly matched as they move through. They're coming in on the last 4 pieces here, double-handing it. Can they get the last one in? Congratulations
Nice
to the
job,
Peace Whisperers.
Yeah, I love the fact that they've baked into their strategy their handedness. All right, so I was able to wrangle the Rainbow Cats up here. Congratulations on your placing. What did you think of this puzzle?
We loved it. I loved it, especially.
Yeah, go ahead and scooch right up in there. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
So you did love it, because there was a question about whether this was going to be a challenging puzzle, whether folks were going to enjoy it or not. So tell me about it.
It was challenging to some degree, but I think both of us like the pick and place strategy. So,
And I love like pop culture references and cartoons and pick and place. So this had kind of a lot of my favorite things in a puzzle.
Right in your jam.
Yeah.
Did you go down the list of the things on the side?
I
to see
have
if you could
started
find
to,
everything in the
already
puzzle?
afterwards. It was like, oh, I missed that, or that's what that was. And so, yeah, I'm going to spend a while.
We had the artist up here, and importantly, it says "and more," so that's not the
Right?
whole list.
I saw that, 50 and more. So I'm going to
Yeah.
spend some time on that.
So how did you guys approach this particular puzzle? How did it play out over the course of the event?
we were debating whether to do the border first just because there was a big purple line on it.
Yeah.
But then we started with the top, and then we're like, actually, let's do the border. So we rotated sideways and finished the border, which I think helped frame things in.
So Arena did the top border first and then kind of filled in the rest of the sky. And I started clustering houses kind of while she was doing that. And then by the time we were sort of ready to put things in place, we had like a couple little house clusters to go with. And then we were just like
After that-
dogpile on with pieces and finding little bits and pieces and
Right.
grabbing a few at a time.
It was fun to watch. Most people's final set of pieces is just a big sea of gray with a lot of
Yes.
pieces in it. So it was a lot of just kind of pick and fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of, shouting out different like
Yeah.
characters or like
Like, I
where's
see
the mummy?
Spider-Man.
Where's the other Egypt person? Where's the bicycle? Whatever. So
Were you guys particularly communicating on this puzzle?
I think so, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we necessarily like
I think we were mostly talking at
were
each
talking.
other,
Sort of thinking out loud. in
thinking
the
out
direction of
loud.
somebody.
Yeah, and then it'd be helpful because occasionally
be like, oh, I know where that.
I know where that is,
there.
and we would grab from each other. So even
Just-
if we weren't always tuned in, it helps, I think, to talk out loud.
voicing, what you're seeing. Mhm.
Great. We've got Jim Eakins with us. Jim, any questions for these ladies?
Hi there. Yeah, when you start getting in towards the end of the puzzle, I know both of you have done so much with random cut. Did that help you find that like physical boost to close it out?
I think definitely like a little bit, at least
Yeah.
like being able to see the shape. But
I think Arena's really good at that. That's actually a weakness of mine that I was thinking about going in, is starting to look for the remaining shape as opposed to picking up the piece and trying to find it on the box when you get really towards the end. So I was kind of trying to do that a little more once there were just clear holes and you knew you were just looking for the piece, and it was probably going to be gray with like a leg or something. So that's been something that I've been working on coming up. So it was nice to use that.
That's really fascinating because you're so fast, Diane. I'm surprised you had any weaknesses at all. Like you two together are so quick. I'm curious. At the Portland Jigsaw Masters, what does it mean to come in a high place here and to put up such a great time? How does that feel?
I mean, feels great.
So good. I mean, we
Hard to
knew
complain.
Hannah and Caitlin. We also live near them and everything, so we were rooting for them. But we also have watched Hannah all week and sort of knew where first place was likely going to land. So second place felt like
Attainable,
but we
feel
also
like-
knew all the other competitors. We were only 9 seconds ahead, so we
Yeah.
knew it was going to be neck and neck, and it was going to depend on the puzzle for like
Exactly.
those top, the next kind of 3 or 4 slots.
Exactly.
So
Everyone was so close at the end there.
we all did Jonathan's like pairs and teams contests that were also this weekend, and there were different, like some of them different people were ahead kind of between the teams and the pairs, so it was like really, we knew it
Depended
was
on
going to
the
be
puzzle.
really tight.
Yeah, we were talking
depending on the
about that
puzzle.
before the competition begins, is that there were there's a great stack of elite level puzzlers like yourselves, and just depending on how the puzzle came about, what it
Yep.
was, it could play into anybody's strengths. And so we were super excited to watch this play out. You guys
Yeah.
brought the excitement level. I appreciate that you were able to put on a good performance for us.
Well,
Yeah, we were excited
we were
too.
excited too.
Good to figure out we were like wanted a trophy, so that was the goal for this one. So.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Jim, any other questions before we let them go?
Yeah. How does puzzling around so many other fast puzzlers feel compared to doing a practice with yourselves or in some of those online competitions?
It's way more stressful.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of energy around.
I think being in the room is really invigorating in general, but kind of being in the line of the fast people and the cameras is really stressful. I always say, like, it was more fun when I felt like I was good for the normals, and then being like slow for the fast people
sorry,
is a lot more stressful.
You've gotten too good.
Even if I'm faster overall, I feel like now the bracket has changed, and so the pressure feels higher.
Yeah, in a way, you're sort of contending with a new set of issues that you didn't have to think about.
Yeah.
And is that something you've had to adapt to, or has that been pretty straightforward? Like,
I think still figuring that out. Yeah, I don't have an answer yet.
Ask us
well,
next
I'm
year.
sorry that-
ask us next year.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have new problems to contend with.
Yeah,
but I'm
it's a good
so
problem to have.
excited with how fast you've both gotten. Like I've been watching the numbers just drop and drop, and the effort you all have been putting in is amazing, and you should be really, really proud of yourselves.
Thank you so much. That's so
yeah.
sweet.
Thank you
really
guys for
nice.
coming up here, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Did you nudge them?
Yes, I'll get them. Sorry.
I am always impressed by those two. They are just so quick and so dedicated to getting better at speed puzzling all the time. It's really, really phenomenal, and I think a lot of puzzlers should reach out to them and say hi, because they are great human beings to hang out with.
Yeah, on our team, we're always talking about putting in the reps, and they do it. Like, they're hardcore about it. So we got AJ Fitz here at the table with us. Go ahead and put your headphones on, scoot yourself right up into the mic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How'd you find this puzzle? How'd you like it?
It was a little challenging.
Not your favorite?
Not my favorite. I'm leaving it here.
Okay, well, talk me a little bit through this. So what about this puzzle is not your favorite?
I just don't like Halloween, so.
So it just offends you on a fundamental level.
yes, it's not big on it, so.
Allie, do you have that same objection?
Yeah, I mean, the image, I think we were expecting something more summery or bright. I don't
Okay.
know, kind of in season.
Uh-huh.
But for me, my first thought is always it's 100% pick and place.
Yes.
And so for me, that's something I'm still working on as a puzzler. But Andrea over here she's a master at pick and place. And even in our team's final, that's her job on the team, is to look at the image, find the chunks, and just put them in the puzzle. So I was excited because I knew how strong she was in that, and that I was going to be her supporting cast, and that's what happened.
So, Andrea, once you got yourself past the offensiveness of the image in your sensibilities, did you find that it really did play into your skills?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't, it's a more challenging puzzle, so it takes a little longer, but, yeah, Allie's like, this is totally your puzzle. And I'm like, this is your puzzle, too. Don't forget. This is your puzzle.
Right. We're both here.
Teamwork.
We both need to contribute.
Right. So, yeah, we decided to do the edge together. And then I'm like, there's a bit of purple sky. You should pick that out. Go do that, because that's easier to get in place. And then I started placing some other things while she worked on that. So
We've got Jim Eakins joining us remotely. Jim, any questions for these ladies?
Yeah, I was wondering, Allie, what is it like to be one of the most frequent flyers on the puzzler circuit?
It's exciting. I mean, all the adrenaline, flying. I think flying over gets you in the mood too, because it's like, okay, there's an event. It's very special for me because I do not get to puzzle with people on a regular basis.
That's right. Tell people where you are.
Yeah, I'm on Oahu in Honolulu, and I am the only speed puzzler that I know in my area. And so it's so fun. Even the practice leading up to these competitions, flying in early at the hotel, getting these runs in, it's just it's phenomenal. And it gives me so much joy. And I'm falling in love with the sport more in the pairs and teams divisions.
she literally runs around skipping frequently, just so happy.
I'm happy to be here.
Yep.
So yeah, we were talking about it, the travel in a way does, as you said, it puts you sort of in a certain mindset, and it'd be interesting having sort of game buses to take you to a place where you're like, yeah, we're gonna go here, we're all together, we're getting in the hype music going, and we're gonna compete.
Absolutely. And we actually met halfway because Andrea's from Michigan. And so it's like we kind of puddle jumped to the center to join up. So it was awesome.
What was your, Ali, you said that you were playing a support role in this particular puzzle. So if she's doing pick and place, what does the support role for that look like?
Yeah, so I am normally I am a huge sorter. So typically I sort what I see and I make piles, you know, and I kind of explain what to do. But this time it was so cool. This is the best we've ever communicated in almost a backwards way, where Andrea was seeing the puzzle and was telling me what to sort. So it was, and it seems like such a small detail, but the communication was so cool. Or else I'd be like, okay, I have 3 pieces of something that looks like a log cabin, and she's like, I know exactly where that is. Put them in my hand. I'm going to put them in the puzzle.
Are you guys usually pretty good communicators in terms of what it is that you see?
Sure. We're not as detailed as that because we haven't. I guess the fish puzzle at nationals, the finals, that was probably the other that would compare to this in this same sort of way. But no, this was very different and so cool. I feel like it's the best we've ever communicated, and it was fun.
Which we've only been able to puzzle together like the week before nationals and then like the couple days here.
So best ever may be a fairly narrow statement.
Right, yeah.
Still third place, and by 9 seconds, if I recall.
Oh, we were like, we really picked it up at the end. Like, I was like, we're getting close and no one's finished. Like, let's keep going. And then someone finished and I'm like, I started shaking more.
Is that right? Yeah. We were watching Becca and Jessa, and we could see Jessa's hands starting to get the shakes pretty heavily right there at the end. Yeah, that burst of adrenaline when you're like, I know that we are competitive, we can make it, we just got to get drive to the end.
Yes.
Do you find that keeps, makes it harder to put those last few pieces in place?
Maybe a couple of them, but it was mostly just like, go, just go.
Jim, anything else before we let these ladies go?
Yeah, I guess I'm always curious for pairs that work together and kind of get to meet, you know, relatively sparingly. What is the most interesting thing that you've learned from the other person?
I don't know.
Like right off the bat, Andrea talks a lot more than I do when she puzzles because she's describing the image. I think in a way that's very, very, very helpful, but it's a way that I don't think about the puzzle. Like I rarely am as detailed looking at especially when I first get the puzzle. I'm like, okay, what chunks do I see? What colors stand out? But she's literally like, okay, I see a house, I see some water, I see very specific things, and she's so calm when she puzzles. And this is like kind of a running joke so far of, you know, even watching her on the individual, I went back and watched the individual live stream when she won her prelim, and she's just very methodical. You know, she's like, okay, I'm going to pick these pieces up. I'm going to put them in the puzzle. She's very, you know,
she brings a calm to the whole scene.
She does. And she brought a calm to this puzzle that allowed me to kind of not freak out that it was as busy as it was. And so she's analytical, but not over the top. She sees things. She's extremely talented in pick and place. And she hardly sorts herself at all. And so that's kind of a fun role for me to fill for her sometimes, because that's, I feel like, one of my go-tos. So,
Andrea, do you feel zen on the inside? Do you feel calm and collected? Like, are you able to sort of compartmentalize and approach this sort of thing? Or is it sort of chaos on the inside and you're just like, I'm calm on the outside?
I mean, I'm excited and I love competing, but yeah, I did a few different sports growing up, so like it's a normal thing to be like, it's good anxiety of sorts, like just excitement, not that I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm excited. I'm here.
yeah.
I mean, at least you're just here doing a puzzle with your friends.
Right.
Right? It can't get worse than that. Well, thank you both for joining me up here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Really, really fantastic. And what a wonderful bunch of pairs to round out the top 3 at the Portland Jigsaw Puzzle Masters. Like they certainly suit the name of Jigsaw Masters. Being able to do this kind of puzzle as quickly as they did, all under 33 minutes, really, really impressive work by all of them. And we're still coming up on the last bit here. I think this might be, is this the last pair in the group?
It is the last pair that I can see. I think we've got cameras on this. This is my teammates, the Sloth fitters, sort of living into their name a little bit. You can see that their movements are slow and deliberate, but doing a great job pushing through this. I know that, if you are a puzzler that takes more time, it actually takes a little bit different kind of physical toll on your body. So there's a lot of back going on right now that I know from experience that they're going to be struggling with. It's the kind of thing, you work towards, you maybe even do a little prep for, but once you get into the moment, after a while, that just sort of takes a toll. And, if you were, as we were talking before, there's a bit of a mental game going on here where, like, if this puzzle doesn't fit your style, you can definitely get it a little bit in your head as to I should be going faster, and so that I think that's probably in play here a bit too. They got a lot of those gray road parts left, so they're going to just kind of need to work through those one by one.
Well, and being methodical whenever there's a lot of uncertainty is a great way to go about it, because you can go, hey, let me try this one. I'm going to try it in a couple of different spots and then move on from there. It's not too dissimilar to what a lot of the top puzzlers do, where they go, here, I'm going to try this one in a couple of different spots and see what happens whenever there's a lot of ambiguity in the pieces. So they're getting along just fine. I agree that towards the end, you start getting that fatigue of, okay, we've been here for 40 minutes, an hour, and all the pieces start to look the same a little bit. But they're making excellent progress here. And if you're in the YouTube chat, cheer this pair on. Let's bring them into the finish here, because we want them to beat the cutoff time, and I'm confident that they can do it. They just got to know that we're rooting for them too.
Yeah, we've been talking all stream about how one of the things I love is how the community gets behind the teams who are bringing up the rear. Everybody's excited to see people come across the line regardless of what time they hit. Everybody gets in there. Everybody gets the sort of appreciation that they deserve at all levels.
Oh yeah, I mean, my goal whenever I'm puzzling is to just finish. That's a sufficient goal, right? I don't have to worry about the time marker. I'm just going get it done, and that's a good goal for me. And the people that are on the table in a competition arena with so many cameras and people around them, that's a lot of pressure. And being able to ward those off and stay focused for this long is really impressive, especially in an event that has such an illustrious name like the Portland Jigsaw Masters. There's a lot of extra pressure, and they are cruising through it one piece at a time, and that's still getting the puzzle done.
Jim, when was the last time you did a competition? Because I don't recall the last time I saw your name show up.
Oh gosh, I subbed in on a team, I think at the Massachusetts State last year. I think that might have been the last known competition, and then there was another one at I think at a Pandemonium bookstore that was just a small scale side competition for locals kind of a thing. But I don't typically do competitions. I don't get nearly as much fun doing the puzzle as I do watching and playing with the optimizations and strategies and things.
So are you still actively involved in coaching, supporting the Wicked Quick team?
Well, the Wicked Quick team is splitting up a little bit because two of them are headed off to grad school or in grad school.
Life intervened.
Yeah, well, in a really, really great way, right? They're both going for those high degrees that are going to help change the world a little bit, and I'm really excited for both Emma and Emily. They're wonderful human beings, and it's really, really great. But Mari and I still do puzzle coaching with the other pairs and teams and individuals, and it's really good time.
I was going to ask, because you need to have an outlet for all of this strategy and insight that you have. Where do you drive that to? Are you available for people to reach out to for coaching?
Oh yeah, if people are interested in coaching, you can hit me up on the grams, as the kids say. I'm nerd_puzzle on there, or you can hit Mari Black at Mari Loves Puzzles. Because we both do coaching together, and whoever responds first is the winner there.
I love that we're seeing some cheering on in the chat. I'll pass that on just by hand waving it in that general direction. I'm noticing, looking at the scoring, something that I didn't notice originally, which was that the Dolores Park Puzzlers were behind Twinsanity by only 5 seconds. So another place where things cut really fast.
Oh yeah, and it like a puzzle like this. Whenever you're within a few seconds of each other, it's so easy to get into that mind place of I could have done X, Y, or Z and gotten it back. It's also entirely possible that a little bit of luck came into play and made that shift. So just being within that close, I tend to think of it more of puzzling in tiers, and being in the upper tier is really impressive, regardless of if it's within a few seconds or not. But those optimizations go a long way over the course of a whole puzzle.
What is a piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's intrigued, they're having a good time watching this, they're thinking about getting their foot in the door a little bit, maybe they're going to come to a competition just to try it out, but is there, what is something that a first-time speed puzzler competitor should be thinking about?
Probably the very first thing that I would recommend to anybody that's jumping in is get excited and do it, and then worry about all the other things, right? Because the first hurdle is just getting the gumption to go out and give it a shot. Once you cross that barrier, then we can start playing with, okay, on the table, try to stay organized ahead of time. There's a lot of puzzlers that use what I think of as the high level strategy of using a chaos field and really kind of puzzling in the middle of things. I recommend early on for beginners, flip your pieces off to one side and then have your build field a little bit elsewhere. That way you have a really clear space of where you want to put the pieces when you're done with them and where you want the things that you're still working on off to the side. That'll help you stay organized early on, and then you can start layering on higher level strategies as you go through.
That's some great advice. While we're at a kind of lull in the action here, let me talk a little bit about the sponsors that we have here at the Portland Jigsaw Masters. Portland Puzzle Company obviously helped putting this on. Andrew and Lane Weatherly, though the co-owners of Portland Jigsaw Masters and the Portland Puzzle Company, along with Cobble Hill. We also have Goodway, who we had up the other day, Zatco and La Puz, and then Aurora completing the puzzle and Preserve My Puzzle, all making this event happen. And we're happy to have all of them involved in making the Portland Jigsaw Masters a thing. As part of their contributions make this the kind of exciting event, the sort of bigger, more fun event that we're able to bring here. It's very exciting. And speaking of very exciting, congrats to Rachel and Tiffany for bringing it across the line with the Sloth Fitters. That takes us out.
Congratulations to both. Please make sure to give both of them a high five from me, because getting the puzzle done is absolutely magical. And yeah, big shout out to all the sponsors of the Portland Jigsaw Masters. It takes a village to make a community like this, and it takes a lot of people that want to go out of their way to help the community grow. And it's really cool to see all of the sponsors help this big group of excited people with this fun niche come together, hang out, and have a really good time.
Couldn't have put it better myself. I was happy to see Rachel there, looking like she's still upbeat. It looks like she felt like she did a great job conquering that puzzle.
Everybody, congratulations.
Like hear a little bit from Lane.
Fantastic job. Okay, next up, 12:30 start for the grand finale, individual final. So try to be here at least 10, 15 minutes early. We can get started on time. Thank you.
All right, like Lane says, 12:30 Pacific time, so that's about an hour and a half if I'm doing my math correctly. Jim, you'll be joining us here again?
No, I might as well.
What the heck? You're so committed to it so far. That'll be the singles finals. Super looking forward to that. And then, so I think you can follow me at peace_talks. Jim, where can people find you?
Nerd_puzzle, but I am absolutely going to plug. Go listen to the Peace Talks podcast. Rob is an amazing interviewer, and he talks to some of the best puzzlers and some of the most interesting. I just go and listen to it. It's a wonderful time. You'll learn so much about speed puzzling and just puzzling in general. And I cannot hype Rob up enough. I want to grow up to be just like him.
Yeah, well, the feeling is mutual. I keep saying we've got a bromance, and that is 100% true. I fully believe in everything you're doing. You're amazing. You bring a ton of energy to things. And the only reason my podcast works is because the puzzling community is great. They're gracious. If you ask them something, they 100% will do it. And also the power of editing so that I don't stammer and you can edit out all the all the blocks that make me sound smarter than I am. In any case, that takes us to an end for this live stream. We'll see you again for singles in about an hour and a half.
Congrats, everybody. Bye.